Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to TCG University. It's me, Noah, here doing a deck profile for Endeavor from our Hero Power Ranking Campus Championship. I played this Endeavor under fire. Overall, I think this deck's really cool. I made some misplays on my own end, but I think every Endeavor deck that I played, the deck itself is really nice. I am not the best player. So we're just going to move right along. We played 2 copies of Capture Evildoers, pretty simple. We like the Breaker, we like the Blockmon, we like the ability to gain momentum or clear a card pool. Generally, we don't clear the card pool, though. Gaining the momentum's nice. The Breaker and the Block is really the reason that we play this card the most. Moving to attacks, we played 2 copies of Howitzer Impact. Endeavor's biggest issue, I will always say, is going to be speed, until Endeavor 2 dots out. So with 1 dot Endeavor, speed is his biggest issue. Damage will never be anything to worry about. So Howitzer Impact's really nice, especially under fire when you can blow up your foundations, that it's cheap to play, and it also is allowing itself to gain 2 more speed. So you can make a base 6 for 6. With Endeavor, it's a 6 for insert X amount of damage. And it's got a 1 high block, which is pretty good. We play 3 copies of Hellflame Cross Punch. This is the best card in Endeavor, in my opinion. It will be the best card in any deck that can fully use it. For the simple fact that it's an attack that gives itself speed. Endeavor already gives it the damage that it needs. It also picks itself back up after you block with it. So you always have an attack in hand if need be, or you always have a block in hand if need be. 3 copies of Turn to Dust. We're playing under fire. If we can play these cards, we're going to play Fury cards anyways. Turn to Dust just to blow up any foundations or to burn the opponent. Endeavor can put the damage on, but if we can sneak through with some burn damage is also nice as well. Plus the 1 mid is super sick, and the ability to stun 2 is nice also. We played 4 copies of Corrosion Lunge because it's nuts when you make this card really scary and your opponent wants to block it, so then your next attack comes in with 2 speed and 2 damage. That's generally the purpose for it. 4 copies of Hellflame Javelin. This card is the first time I played with Hellflame Javelin. I think it's pretty okay, saying that it can't, after this attack is blocked, your opponent can't play breakers for the rest of the turn. I never had 10 or fewer foundations in my deck, so I think the thing I need to do with Endeavor decks is make them a bit smaller, just so we can trigger this more, and his foundation as well, but it is nice to be able to commit to if I have less than 10 foundations in my deck, or 10 cards in my deck, my bad. And then honestly, an MVP card in this deck also, since we play Furies, we might as well play a card that can combo with them, is Touch of Decay. Being able to pick it back up and or draw a card off of it is really nice, and the ability that it, generally speaking, it's a combo card, so you're never going to play this first, so you're always going to get some inherent value off of it. You either get a block back to hand, or you could draw a block or a foundation, whatever you want. Stun 1's nice too. Moving on to foundations, we played 3 copies of Defrosting. The ability to give my attack speed is really nuts, and if it minuses the damage, who cares? When you're playing Endeavor, you're going to give your attacks inherent damage as is. 2 copies of Capabilities, just in case we get that 1 random momentum. It's really nice to just be like, hey, this attack's double scary. Giving it, what? Furies get plus 2 speed and 5 damage. We played 3 copies of Tutoring Kirishima. Response or move after it enters discard pile during my enhanced step. My roll flips the foundation. That's generally the reason we would want to have it. I don't ever think I actually milled it though. And then enhance flip, your powerful attack gets plus 3 damage. 2 copies of Self Propulsion, so if any of my attacks deal damage, I can always get another momentum off of it. 2 copies of Irrefutable Force of Nature, because locking down foundations is nice. I think in the games that I played with this, which I think there were only 2 total, or 2 characters that this guy fought against, Gunhead and Fourth Kind, where he lost. This card is just inherently good to have. 3 copies of Nervous Habit. We want speed, and we're able to give it to him, plus we're 30 health characters, so we have a little bit of extra health and wiggle room to work with. 3 copies of Latent Skills, so we can draw our attacks or better blocks if need be. 4 copies of League Interview. Checks are easier to pass, blocks are easier to make, and it's a 6. Like, it's so good. It's just a honest staple in any deck that can play it, in my opinion. 4 copies of Revel As Masterpiece. It's made for this character being able to give my attack plus 1 damage, and then increasing the chance for higher damage because we're milling a card. I never think I've used the form, but it's not like it's a bad form. I've just never had the chance to use it. 4 copies of Ice Gliding, Speed Hate, or giving your attack speed, so if you know they're going to block one, your next one can come in a bit faster, hits harder. 4 copies of Arrogant Disposition. Against punches, it's super nice to have from the neg on the speed. It's a 2 low block, which is super cool, and it's also a 6 check, which is nuts. So we play 4 6 checks in this deck currently, which I think is insane. We want to give things speed, so we play 4 copies of Let's Fight Bad Guys, so my Fury attacks get +2 speed. 3 copies of Clever Distraction. We're playing under fire. I needed some Spam Foundation, and this one's just good for speed hate as well. 4 copies of Endanger, just in case we need extra speed hate, and it's really good Spam Foundation. And then, last but not least for Endeavor, we played 4 copies of Internship with Best Genius. I like this card a lot. Like, for a Spam Foundation, I will always love this card, especially because I am a dummy and just figured out you could block with this card and still make them flip something. This card got even better. That's the Endeavor deck. Not much to say about it. It played similar to the Earth in terms of I just hit you with big cards and play a really good defensive game. Against Fourth Kind, I messed up on game 3 by building into 6 foundations when I thought I was building into 5 because I miscounted, and I lost the game because of that. Otherwise, I think this deck would have done phenomenal for the rest of the ranking. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, check out the rest of the content we have here on the channel, and as James would say, stay alert.